Welcome to 21st Sports recap and reaction of the Carolina Panthers at the Tennessee Titans in their Week 10 matchup played November 15th, 2015. We're going to go over all the scores and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis. And the Panthers start off this game red hot. Cam Newton hit his first 11 passes. And with about 8.5 minutes still left in the first, John Stewart scored on a 16-yard touchdown run. Graham Gano added the extra point, and it was 17-0 Carolina over Tennessee. The Titans responded on their very next possession, going 82 yards in 10 plays in about 5 minutes, capped off by a 25-yard touchdown run by Dexter McCluster. Suckup hit the extra point, and it was now tied at 7 with about 3.5 left in the first. And so now the Panthers, they came right back on their next possession that would go into the second quarter as they went 80 yards in about 9 plays in 5.5 minutes as Cam Newton hit Ed Dixon for a 1-yard touchdown pass less than 2 minutes into the second quarter. Graham Gano then hit the extra point, and it was 14-7 as the Panthers were back in the lead. And so now the Titans came right back. They wouldn't get in the end zone, but they would score on their next possession as they would settle for a 45-yard field goal by Ryan Suckup with a little less than 8 minutes left before halftime that made it a 4-point game with the Panthers still in the lead 14-10. So that would be it for the first half, as that would be the score going into the locker rooms as each team would have to punt after that on their next possessions. But then in the third quarter, it was scoreless until, with less than half a minute left in the third, Graham Gano hit a 48-yard field goal to put the Panthers back up by 7 with the score 17-10. So that was the score after 3. Then in the fourth, first we ended up seeing, Coleman had the interception as he picked off Mariota, and that was in the third. And that was before they would end up with that field goal. Coleman had that interception. And then in the fourth, Carolina gets the field goal by Graham Gano about 6 minutes in with 9 minutes left to play in this game. A 19-yard field goal that made it 20-10 as the Panthers were now up by 10 points. Then after that field goal, the Titans would go 3 and out, and then the Panthers would come right back on their next possession, and they would go 64 yards in 10 plays, eating up a little less than 5 minutes, capped off by a 2-yard touchdown by Cam Newton with less than 3 minutes left to play in this game. Graham Gano added the extra point, and it was now 27-10 as the Panthers were in the lead by 3 scores, up by 17. So now the Titans with the ball. They would start off on their own 13, and they would drive up to midfield and get into Carolina territory. But on 1st and 10 from the 38, Mariota hit McCluster, and he got blown up by Kuechly. Short recovered the fumble, and all that was left to do was for Cam Newton to take 2 knees in the victory formation as the Panthers win this one 27-10. They're now 9-0, undefeated on the season, 4-0 at home. And they actually have won their last 13 games going back to last year when they finished off winning their final 4 in the regular season in 2014. And here in 2015, they remain undefeated, first place in the NFC South, and they have the best record in the NFC, tied for the best record in the league. And the Titans, they have not won a game at home. They're 0-5 in Nashville. Just their 2 wins coming on the road. They're 2-7 on the season. And they were putting pressure on Cam. They sacked him 5 times, but despite those 5 sacks, Cam Newton, like I said, he completed his first 11 passes, and he would end up 21 for 26 in this game. 217 passing yards, the 1 passing touchdown, no interceptions. He also had 9 carries for 23 yards and a rushing touchdown. And that was Superman stats. And the Green Lantern, John Stewart, 22 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. And Greg Olsen had 8 receptions for 80 yards. Ted Ginn, 4 receptions for 45 yards. Devin Funches, 2 receptions for 41 yards. Ned Dixon, 3 receptions for 21 yards, and including that touchdown. And for the Titans, Marcus Mariota, 16 for 24, 185 passing yards, no touchdowns, and interception. He also had 5 carries for 24 yards. Dexter McCluster, 3 carries for 25 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He also had 4 receptions for 27 yards, giving him 52 total yards on the game. And Delaney Walker, the tight end for the Titans, had 3 receptions for 52 yards. Justin Hunter had 4 receptions for 47 yards. Look at the kickers. Graham Gano was perfect on the game, 2 for 2 on the field goals, 3 for 3 on the extra points. Suckup, 1 for 1 on the field goals, 1 for 1 on the extra points. And on defense for the Panthers, Kuechly had that forced fumble, and Coleman had that interception, and Ely had a sack. And for the Titans, they had 5 sacks in this game. Arakpo, Griffin, Woodyard, and Stafford each had 1 sack, and Bass and Williamson combined for the other sacks. They each had a half a sack. Look at the team stats. 24 first downs for the Panthers, 11 first downs for the Titans. On third down, the Panthers were 17 of 13, 53% converted. And for the Titans, 5 of 12, 41% converted. Total net yards, 303 for Carolina, 242 for the Titans. On the ground, the Panthers netted 119, the Titans 64 yards on the ground. And for the Panthers through the air, they netted 184 yards as Cam Newton was sacked 5 times, losing a total of 33 yards. And for the Titans, 178 yards netted. Mariota was sacked once for a loss of 7 yards. Look at the penalties. 5 penalties against the Panthers, losing 45 penalty yards, and 4 penalties against the Titans, 30 penalty yards. The Titans fumbled the ball 3 times, but they only lost 1. And we look at the red zone. The Panthers in the red zone were 3 for 5, 60%. The Titans did not reach the red zone at all in this game. So no red zone trips for the Titans in this one, as they had that 1 touchdown in the first quarter, that 25-yard touchdown run by Dexter McCluster. So the Panthers really dominant on defense, keeping the Titans on the other side of the field, keeping them out of the red zone, and Cam Newton getting the job done. Not necessarily putting up big numbers per se. He did have the 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. Not throwing for a lot of yards, but a high completion percentage. No turnovers. And they had a very balanced attack. And with that great defense and with the balanced attack through the air and on the ground, getting the job done, it's a recipe for success. It's why they have the best record in football right now. The Carolina Panthers playing excellent football. In Tennessee, they fired their coach a couple weeks ago. They got rid of Wisenhunt. They got Malarkey now, but they had won the 1 game with Malarkey, but now they lose to Carolina. And that's what every other team that's faced Carolina has done this season, is they remain undefeated. And so big win for Carolina on the road, even though it is against the Titans, who've only won 2 games. Every win's a big win, especially getting those road wins are big for sure. So Carolina with the 27-10 victory. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend and enjoyed all the sports.